Hey, and welcome to a video with me, Andrea. This is my first video since I've officially found out that we are expecting our second baby. And I wanted to take the time to really talk about how I feel about that and just some of the stuff that's been going on. So I took a test about a week and 3 days ago, and I saw the faintest of faints second lines. And I have friends who are professional pregnancy test analyzers, and they all saw it. But then I also had friends who were like, I see nothing. But I, at the time, had already been experiencing some things that made me feel like, okay, either I'm losing my mind or I'm pregnant, because I just don't feel like this normally, and I'm very in touch with my body. And so it was like, something's going on, something. So I was pretty sure. I saw the line. I didn't, I couldn't convince myself, but then the next day I took another test and it was much more visible. And so some of the first days after taking the test, I noticed some strong nausea and smell aversions and just not feeling great. And I was like, this sucks. And I have anxiety. I have generalized anxiety disorder, and my anxiety was awful. I was just not feeling good, and I was terrified. I was like, what have I done? What have I done? This sucks. I feel miserable. And so basically I was freaking out. I know I wanted this, but just the idea of then now doing it was a lot for me to accept, And then the nausea kind of went away, and I wasn't feeling as sick. So then I was like, well, maybe this pregnancy isn't viable and all this stuff. So I was just kind of basically a disaster of emotions. And I was peeing on a pregnancy test every day. I actually peed on one this morning. I know I'm pregnant. It's like a dark as clear as day line, but sometimes you just need that reassurance, especially when you don't necessarily feel pregnant. I am having other symptoms of pregnancy. So if you watched my channel back in the day with Everest, one of the weirdest symptoms I had is I had these really, really realistic and random sex dreams, just so weird. And I've been having those again. So yep, I had one the other day, and I woke up and I was like, what? What was that? And the funny thing is I talked about this with so many people. I'm an open book, and so many people have said that they also had really realistic and really random sex dreams in their pregnancies. So it's apparently way more common than we maybe talk about, because in our society we're like, ooh, sex, shh, we shouldn't talk, but not me. So I've been having those, and I've also had some really stinky gas, which is another thing that I had with Everest, which I don't have normally. I usually actually am not that gassy at all, but I've been gassy and they're not smelling the greatest. And I have been having a few smell aversions, but they come and go. They're not 24/7. And they're different than they were with Everest. With Everest, I could not think about anything vegetable, greens at all. All I wanted was hash browns and bagels, and hash browns and bagels. And now I want green smoothies and green juice and watermelon and even this morning, like, Colin made Everest a bagel, and I was like, get that away from me. Like, not because I normally wouldn't love myself a bagel, but because just the smell was, like, really not sitting right with me. So, you know, I'm having stuff like that, but otherwise I feel pretty much normal. I'm, like, feeling pretty energetic. I'm working out still, which, you know, is great for me and my mental health. And I'm, you know, not struggling with nausea, and I'm just feeling really, really, really lucky about that, to be honest. I'm definitely, like, my biggest struggle right now is I want to be here, like where I am. But pregnancy, like, kind of takes my brain somewhere else. And I'm just always, like, I'm always in my mind. And as someone with anxiety, like, I'm used to that in a lot of ways. But I'm super sensitive to it because I'm just realizing that if this pregnancy is viable and it continues on, and I'll be due May 1st if it all works out, then, you know, I'll have 2 kids. And that, you know, that's a lot for me to think about, because I am a stay-at-home mom, and I remember what it's like to have a baby. Having a toddler is almost harder than what it was like, but it's also kind of easier. It's hard to explain. But Everest has been my world for so long. Not my whole world, obviously. Like, I've tried to seek an identity outside of motherhood. Hasn't always been easy, but I've done my best. But right now, she gets my everything in so many ways, you know, and the idea that she, you know, won't be my only kid, I don't know why, it just makes me super, super sad in a way. So I'm happy, but I just don't understand, I guess, how it's all going to work out. And I worry that because of the nature of pregnancy and how you're always looking forward, that she'll miss out on these last few precious months, this, like, last 8 months or whatever, 9 months of being my everything. And so I'm so sensitive to, like, every day I'm like, okay, what happens will happen. Today is today. You have so much to be grateful for, and focus on the now, you know, focus on this day with your child, you know, taking her to the park and playing Duplo with her. And, you know, I haven't told Everest we're expecting, because if I were to lose this pregnancy, I just don't really feel that I would be able to explain it to her in a child-appropriate way. But, you know, who knows what life will bring me. But another part of me, like, doesn't feel like I can fully express my happiness and excitement, because then I'm just potentially making myself more vulnerable. And so, like, part of my defense mechanism is to just be like, okay, you know, it's a cluster of cells right now. There's no emotional connection you need to make. And that's just kind of me protecting myself in a way. But I want to be happy and I want to be excited, because because that's a better thing to feel than kind of this nothingness that I'm trying to project on it. And so it's really just been super emotional. I'm trying to validate all of my emotions, and I'm trying to just take them as they come. You know, who knows, maybe in 2 weeks I'll feel way more nauseous. So I want to enjoy this time where I'm not and just make the most out of the energy that I'm getting, you know, because who knows if it's temporary or not. And basically I'm just crying like a lot and just trying to enjoy life because I have a wonderful life, and trying to just express gratitude for all that I have, and also just really, really, really give Everest everything I've got right now in a way, because I'm just nervous about how it's going to impact her. I don't understand how it works, because like right now I just feel like I give so much, and so the idea of having another living being that I have to give this love and energy to, I just don't understand, you know. And so I'm sure it works, you know, and I've got so many friends reassuring me, and it just means the world to me that I have their support. But I'm trying to, you know, be realistic and not deny my emotions. So even if they reassure me, I can't deny the fact that a huge part of me is just scared out of my mind, like overwhelmed, freaked out, just you know, and a bit of a mourning in a way. It's I don't know how to say it without, you know, I don't know how to say it other than it's just I'm preparing myself to let go of this chunk of time of my life where I've only had one child, and it's so special to just, you know, it's such a bond you have with your first child that I just don't understand really how the love grows. But I'm really, I know it's going to grow. I know I'm not going to love Everest less than I do now when another baby comes. So that's how I'm feeling. Sex dreams and lots of tears. I don't know what else to say. Another ramble video by yours truly. But sometimes it just helps to get it out. I don't know.